What's up, everyone? Vince Ingenito here. I'm here with my good buddy, John Ryan. How
Hi
you
there.
doing, John?
I'm good, Vince. I'm really excited.
And let's just get this right away immediately. What's the most important thing about this whole trailer?
Oh, obviously, it's Patrick Warburton.
Obviously, from the famed
But
90s TV show.
The Tick.
Right.
But there's also a lot of other great stuff in this trailer.
There is. Like something we're seeing right now. We're actually, I don't want to miss this. So, folks, let's take a look. Let's slow this down. So here, Handsome Jack is very kind and breaks down the chronology of how Tales from the Borderlands fits into the rest of Borderlands canon for us. So it's Borderlands the pre-sequel, the most unfortunately named video game in the history of unfortunately named video games.
I mean,
and that's a rich history, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, I think
I
don't know. I don't think that's the worst, but I think it's up there.
So yeah, we have that. And then we have Borderlands 2. And now we have Tales from the Borderlands, which is not only, I don't know if this is supposed to be, if these lines are proportionate, but if they are, that means that Tales from the Borderlands is as far after is a long time after Borderlands 2.
Yeah, I don't think they're proportionate though. I think because if you look at between Borderlands and the pre-sequel, it's a shorter distance between pre-sequel and Borderlands 2, and Borderlands 2 clearly picks up relatively soon after Borderlands.
True. So yeah, maybe
I think it's just for aesthetic effect.
Right. Maybe there's nothing. Maybe there's nothing to it.
More interesting for me. This is totally off topic, but we've got then and now. Now at the very end, implying that Tales from the Borderlands and the entire Borderlands adventure games so far have actually taken place before the time period in which we live.
Right. Or
Whoa.
Or at the very least the time period in which this current version of Jack we hear talking exists.
Whoa.
Which, again, Jack, spoilers, is dead.
He got
pretty
himself
dead.
killed.
He got pretty dead.
He gets so
after
dead.
Borderlands 2. But anyway, let's move on. So yeah, that clears up something.
And technically, this might not even be Jack. It's just his mask. It's just the face of Jack.
Right.
The handsome part of handsome Jack.
There
There he is. There he is.
Oh.
There's the tick.
The tick.
All right, here we go. If we kick back a little bit,
Okay.
we'll get our first shot of.
Yeah, actually, we're gonna get the nice close in on him.
It's smart. The smartness.
Vice
Boom.
janitor. Okay, yeah, right here. So
Company man.
yeah,
you.
we can see. Yeah, it says you, and this is Reese. We've seen this character already, but especially seeing this close up on him, I can't help but notice the stark difference in obviously his eye color. He has two different eye colors, and I'm not sure.
Heterochromia.
Right, and I'm wow.
Yeah, I know, right?
Have you been playing Rogue Legacy?
No, I've been playing a lot of Assassin's Creed, and they've got a bunch of characters in there with heterochromia.
Oh, okay.
Also, Christopher Walken has it.
Fun facts from John Ryan.
Fun facts from John Ryan.
So now this is interesting because I feel like, especially with his jawline and his hair, I keep getting this strange feeling that he's related to Jack.
He looks very familiar. Like with the hairline, the really just the shape of the face in general, the general handsomeness.
Yes, the general handsomeness. So, and it does say you, indicating that this is the player character. So yeah, and we also heard back here that he's been working really hard for promotion.
The promotion that you worked so hard to get. That's still coming to you.
Yeah, so it sounds almost like, I'm going to bring this back up later, but it sounds like he's positioning himself to
kind of be the new Hyperion lead guy.
Yeah, to move up in the ranks. That I think will play into what happens later in the trailer a little bit. But let's move on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we've got some of his coworkers, and here it comes the plan.
So yeah,
let's pause for 1 second right there. Backtrack just a hair to the hallway shot. We can kind of see, get a little hint of the plot, at least from Reese's perspective, where he's clearly been snubbed by Patrick Warburton. His name's Vasquez in the game, I think. He's Patrick Warburton. It doesn't matter. So Reese gets snubbed by the Tick, and he and his cohorts, his two friends here in the hallway, or at least one of them we'll see later on, are out for either revenge or a get-rich-quick scheme.
Yeah, and this, again, is revolving around a vault key, it looks like, and opening up a vault of Pandora. It's always about a vault, is it not?
Yeah. And this
is interesting. You pointed this out to me right before we sat down.
Because you didn't notice this the first time.
I didn't. I'm bad at rewinding, apparently. So, yeah, Fiona is not only his partner, it looks like, in this crime, but...
Well, that's the other interesting thing, too, is that you will hear a little bit later on. I'm not sure if they know each other at the beginning of this tale. But you can see here it says, also you, too.
Right.
Meaning that there are at least two playable characters that you'll be taking the role of within Tales from the Borderlands.
Right, which is really cool because that's not too common really in Telltale's.
No, they usually stick you with a
games.
solo protagonist, which
Right.
works really well for narrative storytelling.
Sure.
But I'm interested to see how this plays into the world that they've created with the Borderlands side of things.
Right. So yeah, that's our other main character.
She seems a little more rough and tumble.
Like she's used to this kind of life.
Yeah.
You know, she's a con artist after all. Okay, here's something I wanted to stop on real quick. So here we see, this guy meeting an unfortunate end.
Being stabbed to death.
Yeah, it's kind of gruesome, but that kind of takes your attention away from what's going on in the background, which is we have this
The Purple
what looks like a
Skag?
bar, the Purple Skag. Now, I couldn't find anything about that particular bar
I don't remember
anywhere
anything.
in any of the Borderlands wikis or anything. Nothing I remembered, but it's both from its name and the fact that like it's got kind of like a purple theme, both in the name and like the sign, the coloring of the sign. I feel like this would be a logical place for Moxie to exist.
I mean, I'm sure she does since Borderlands 2. Is it? It was her first debut.
It was the Mad Moxie
the-
Underdome. The Mad Moxie's Underdome. I can't
Right,
remember
the
exact
DLC
name of
for
it now.
one.
The DLC, yeah.
Right. So, but I mean, she's been a staple character in the series ever since. So, it's reasonable to assume that she will probably show up here.
Yeah.
I'm
So
also curious to know if it looks very much like this guy getting stabbed to death by these miniature psychos is the guy that Fiona was just playing cards with in the previous shot.
Right,
So
so,
I'm curious what's happening on that front.
So spoilers, folks, don't get too attached to that guy.
No, he will not be long for this world, I feel.
Other interesting thing about this shot is that, and I don't really know, I don't have the sharpest eyes, but there's definitely a wanted sign back there on the like by the front
there
door,
is,
and I'm wondering if the person who that is going to be relevant in some way. I feel like these when they make these trailers, they leave things like that
Oh,
in
of
there
course.
just to like give us just to throw us a
maybe
bone, but I don't know what
we're
bone
looking
they're
at-
throwing us
Maybe we're
there.
looking at Fiona being like a con artist trying to turn the straight line,
Sure,
like
sure.
maybe go after bounty hunters or some nonsense like that. I have no idea.
If there's any eagle-eyed folks watching at home, or if you go to the extra lengths of enhancing that section,
If you work at
taking a closer
CSI
look at it,
Miami and can zoom and enhance,
and you have any theories about who that wanted poster might be about, please let us know in the comments below. But let's move on.
Indeed.
I love that line.
Came to Pandora, now you get to live like we do.
Yeah, there's her with that. That's the sick,
So that line right there is kind of implying that this is the first time she's going to meet Reese.
yeah, and also that she's familiar with the way things work down here,
Right.
On Pandora.
I feel like if we can pause it right here for a second.
Yeah.
With that big old robot just saying hi.
Wanna
I
back
feel
up to
like
the robot?
with Reese, we can if you like. The Reese and his little buddy with the briefcase, I'm not sure what his name is. I feel like they're going to kind of be a very fish out of water comedy style.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, these
for the-
guys are
for the
totally
better part of
screwed,
this
man. I
game.
mean, that's like that goes without that.
But they do have a sweet ride.
Well, we'll see. We'll see how sweet it really is.
I mean, it could end up being like the Back to the Future DeLorean at the end of 3.
Right.
You know?
So, yeah. So here we've got just a bunch of quick cuts, but there's one thing coming up here that I don't want to miss. Even though we are going to see him more later in the trailer.
Where is he? Come on, no, a little further.
There he is.
There he is.
Darby Zero. So we do know that there are, even though this is not going to be about Vault Hunters.
No,
but-
well, they are looking for a vault key.
Yeah, so you got to know that wherever there's vaults
Yep,
involved,
there's
Vault
Vault
Hunters are going to be
Hunters.
somewhere. So even though you're not going to be controlling them, they might not be the main part of the story. It definitely seems, and we're going to see more of him throughout this trailer towards the end
Absolutely.
here,
We
that
can
they're
also-
definitely involved.
about who gets what and how much.
We're not vault hunters.
Yes, you are not.
No,
Oh,
you're
but
not. So you can see-
was
That was
a
absolutely
Vault
so.
Hunter
You see Zero's going to show up.
vivisecting some poor fool.
Yeah. And actually, I think if you kick
Sorry.
forward just a little bit, we see
To the part where Zero
we might
slices a
see-
dude in half.
Well, no,
Yeah,
past that.
This
No,
part right
stop
here.
showing this part. We've seen it a lot.
Not this part.
No, not that part.
Okay, cool. The next part.
Oh, you're the worst.
Part after that.
The part after that, not the part where he kicks him. Keep going.
God, you're demanding. John.
There he is. I think I like to have a theory that since we're seeing other Vault Hunters further on down the line,
Uh-huh.
this looks suspiciously to me like Salvador's body type, at least. I mean, it could just be a generic boss fight,
Oh.
but I have a feeling that since we're seeing other Vault Hunters, and since they've shown us this guy a couple of times, this may have been what became of Salvador,
Interesting.
the Gunzerker from 2.
Sure. I never I never would have thought that. Actually, I never rolled the credits with him. I don't really have a sense of like any of his interactions towards the end of the.
He's a big muscly dude and he wears a red shirt.
Okay, so that's the depth to which your theory goes. I'm down with that.
Pretty much. I just like speculation.
I'm totally down with that. But then there's of course this
That seems
really important.
Yeah, let's kick that back a few frames. No,
Yeah.
no, all the way back. Come on, let's get a nice clean shot. A little more. Yeah, there we go. No, a little bit forward now. Anyways, you get what we're seeing. You hear the voice. We're talking about that handsome
It's all
Jack.
very fun. That might be the best we're gonna get right there of Jack. So, and what he says to me is the most important thing here. And he asks if you really think you could follow in my footsteps. So.
And that kind of kicks back to what you were thinking of earlier.
Exactly.
With the possible connection between Reese and Jack.
Yeah, I mean, I think that what we're meant to believe is probably that this message is for this Vasquez guy who's succeeded Jack at Hyperion, and maybe Jack in some way
You mean
wants
Patrick
revenge.
Warburton, the Tick.
I mean the Tick.
Yeah.
Clearly the Tick.
So the Tick is
runs,
trying to follow Handsome Jack's path.
right,
but
and
somehow,
Handsome Jack ain't having none of that.
Right, Reese and Fiona have stumbled into it instead.
But I also wonder if it has anything to do with like, I don't know, pie in the sky. Like if Reese is somehow like Jack's son.
Maybe. I like to think since he's we can see that he's got a robot arm, and we've seen earlier in the trailer he's got like a cyber eye.
Right.
Maybe he's like an android version of Jack that he like had locked in a closet. Or
this
like
is right. That's
some
not
kind
something
of
Jack would do. And this is the
horrible
Borderlands,
clone.
so it could be really literally anything. But we can see clearly is that though Jack is most certainly dead, at least by our definitions of dead. You know, who knows?
he has no pulse, but now he might like this is all pixelated. He might be an AI now.
Right. Who exactly?
He may have
he could
gone
be an
the
AI.
road-
So
the road of
either way,
what's her
it
name?
seems like Jack is definitely a force in this.
Oh yeah.
In this,
Well, I
in
mean,
this series for sure.
he was such a great antagonist in 2. You'll be hard pressed to find and replace him with somebody else.
Yeah, it wouldn't. At this point, it would be tough to feel like Borderlands without without Handsome Jack. So
Exactly.
not as sexy or immediately like whoa, but like
You're
this
really
moment.
cool.
You're like cool, Zero.
Yeah, Zero.
So this last little screen here, it's again, is this super sexy? No, but what it does show is the platforms, and it's got pretty much everything under the sun, but Wii U. Wah.
Well, I mean, we were kind of expecting that.
Right.
But it's okay because you can play it on your phones. But also, other platforms to be announced.
Exactly.
So that doesn't totally count you out, Nintendo fans.
Right.
It just probably counts you out.
It just probably counts you out, but not definitely. They're not totally closing the door on it.
Because really, when it says all those and then also coming to iOS and other platforms, they mean Android.
Right. They usually mean Android.
But hopefully it will come to Wii and Wii U.
And what
or
about
3DS.
I wonder if it'll come to like the Surface or like Windows. Well, the Surface runs everything. If you get the Surface Pro, it runs everything. But like, I wonder if it'll come to like Windows phones or anything.
Well, I mean, technically, Windows phones just run a crappier version of Windows.
Right.
So you can just run it off like a Mac OS. If it runs on iOS, it'll run on mobile devices.
Yeah. So
it's
I'm
just a matter of porting the tech.
sure. Right. So I'm interested to see if they're what those other platforms are. But in any case. That is the first trailer, the first real major trailer for Tales from the Borderlands. Let us know what you think in the comments below. Thank you so much, John Ryan, for
Thank
helping
you,
me out.
Vince,
My
for
name is
having me
Vincent
on.
Janito, and this has been a Rewind Theater of the Tales from the Borderlands trailer, the first major one in any case. So, for more on Borderlands, the pre-sequel, and the Tick, please, folks, keep it locked right here.
At IGN. Patrick Warburton.